What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. Today, we're revisiting the Battacor in 2022. This thing actually is very deadly nowadays, and since the Galvanized mods, it's actually getting some pretty big numbers and pretty good mob clear out of this thing with no riven and no buffing at all. Before we get into it, make sure you check out the live stream channel, and make sure you're also subbed to the YouTube channel as well to make sure you know when all these videos go up. Alright, so as far as the Battacor, we're going to do a quick overview of how this thing works and what you should know about it. And basically, it's a full auto burst rifle. Does that make any sense? Burst and full auto together? Well, technically, apparently it does to DE, because that's what they put down, auto burst. So we got 3.57 fire rate, a 60-round magazine, and a 2-second reload. As far as other stats, we've got a primary fire mode, which shoots out like a burst of bullets, and a secondary shot, which is a mega cannon, which does big damage and has slightly increased crit chance with a lot higher crit damage. The full auto burst thing is going to be 32% crit chance and a 2.4 multiplier, pretty good base stats. And interestingly, we have puncture and magnetic as the base damage of the burst shot. So that is going to mean that this thing has built-in magnetic, allowing you to do things like, viral magnetic or, corrosive magnetic, which you usually can't do just because of the way the combined elements usually go in this game. The super shot has increased damage. The normal shot's 66, and the super shot has 208. So what you're going to be getting out of here is you're going to be getting a 34% crit chance and a 3x multiplier, and also the range is 3.4. So not a huge range, but it can still kill 5 or 6 enemies in one of these shots. The interesting mechanic of this is, see these little ticks right here next to my cursor? If I press the button when I have those ticks filled in, it fires up the mega shot. But as you can see, those 3 ticks went away now. Getting kills with the primary shot or from Hunter Munitions slash procs will basically feed into getting those ticks back. So we're going to be showing a viral Hunter Munitions build. We have literally nothing on here that will be buffing the weapon in any way. So as you can see here, nothing to buff the weapon. And it's all just no ribbon and anything. We're going to be doing that a lot more going forward to make sure that the builds are something that you could replicate going forward. Okay, so we got Galvanized Aptitude for giving us increased damage on every stat effect on the enemy. This works really well in the Battacor. Galvanized Chamber, after getting a kill, you'll be getting increased multi-shot up to 230% multi-shot. Very, very powerful. One of the best mods in the game. Hunter Munition. Now, this is only if you're doing Steel Path stuff. If you're not fighting Steel Path enemies, you could just go for fire rate or something like that. Prime Shred's a great mod for the Battacor if you don't want to go super high scaling, because this thing doesn't really need Hunter Munitions, but it can help. So we'll just do Hunter Munitions for the purpose of the testing and the showcase. We have Toxin and Ice to go together to make viral damage, making our damage massively increased when the enemies take viral procs. Also makes our Hunter Munitions force slash procs a lot stronger too. We got crit damage and crit chance, and then the last mod slot is Bane of the Grenier. Since we're fighting against Grenier currently in this test thing, this is what mod will run. If you don't like this mod, you don't want to run this mod, blah blah blah. Amalgam Serration's pretty good. Normal Serration's also pretty good. You can even run something else like Prime Firestorm potentially if you want to get more range on the explosion shot. But we will show this. And also Vigilance Supplies, letting us sometimes get some orange crits. And we've got Primary Merciless for increased reload speed and just more damage, more enemies you kill. So let's show how this weapon works in the simulacrum, and then we'll jump into Steel Path gameplay. And this thing does destroy the Steel Path very easily. So let's get some stacks from these butchers. As you can see, me holding on the button, it keeps firing. That's why some fire rate is pretty nice on a full auto weapon like this. So now that we've got 3 stacks, we have our super shot ready, but we're not going to use the super shot yet. So 1 burst on this Manic Bombard is nearly a 1-shot on him with literally no buffing outside at all. So yeah, let's use the mega shot on one of these Bombards and see what happens. Get a couple more Merciless stacks too. Now of course you could go Primary Deadhead if you want to instead. But for the purpose of the video, there's 176,000 slash proc on that guy, unbuffed entirely. So I'm sure you can see where this could go. You start slapping a rivet on here. You maybe use a Mirage Eclipse. You use a Roar from a Rhino. Whatever you end up doing, this thing can get crazy, crazy damage numbers, and you can just keep going. Like the super shot doesn't really take any ammo. Like you see right there, I think it took 0 shots, so you can save that part of your magazine when you have the super shot going. Let's go for the body shots here. Body shot slash proc 69,000. Very nice, very nice. And yeah, let's get into some Steel Path gameplay so you can see how it works in mission. And we'll give the weapon grades as we do with these types of videos. So here we are on the Steel Path. Some of the highest level enemies you can fight in the game. The Steel Path Grenier. And yeah, it just it's pretty much like their normal enemies, to be honest. Now we do have the Panzer file on here just to like let me have a vacuum permanently, so they are getting some extra viral procs they normally wouldn't have. But this thing actually is quite good with these new mods because the magnetic's good, the puncture is built in. You can get tons and tons of damage with these new galvanized mods on the Battacor. So as far as weapon grades, I'm going to go with mob clearing at B. Now, it's not A because this AoE is not that large. You can see, like, we also have to build it up. So, like I said, if you're doing a Hunter Munitions build, getting kills from the slash procs from the Mega Shot can actually let you get your Mega Shot back. That's a little trick you can do if the enemy somehow does not die to the Mega Shot upfront damage. So mob clearing is B, above average, but, you know, maybe if you like were using Ensnare or something like that, if you were like grouping enemies all together, that would be higher, but that's taking other things into account that are not the weapon itself. So you gotta keep that in mind when you're looking at these types of grades. Acolyte clear at B, above average. It's not phenomenal, but I'm sure you could one-shot the Acolyte with a corrosive build. Keep in mind, if you're trying to one-shot Acolytes, run a corrosive build, not a Viral Hunter Munitions build like you see in the gameplay footage. This build in the gameplay footage is intended for clearing out trash ads like you see right here. Like, it's just the death hallway. Like, we own this hallway, and we just cleave through it, blasting away every couple of seconds like a huge group of Grineer. That's what we're meant for here. If I wanted to one-shot the Acolyte, I'd go with a corrosive build. Basically the same build you see, but switching a couple mods around just to not have 100 munitions and just have basically corrosive crit. That's as easy as I can put it for you. Now, increasing the fire rate with Prime Shred maybe could increase your mob clearing a little bit, but the build is pretty tight. The Viral Hunter Munitions build is pretty tight, to be honest. So it's going to be up to personal preference. As far as max stats potential, actually not that good. It's got base, like I said, showed earlier, it's got base, magnetic, and puncture, so we got no impact, got no slash built in. You can technically get some decent procs, but the max stats, like the reason it's not that high is because on this scale, we put things like the Cedo, we put things like the Battacor, the big, like, mega status proccers. This thing can't compete with them as far as max stats potential. It can compete with them with ad clear somewhat, but yeah, that's not the purpose. So let's get these Acolyte in here. Overall grade of B, an above average score, and I guess the Acolyte clip's not in there, so it was not great. It took like about 4, you can probably like 3 or 4 shot the Acolyte with the Mega Shot. You could, like I said, you can one-shot it with a corrosive build, but good luck getting that to go off. I just like the HM build more. Let's just show how this works if you are to run Prime Shred on here, which I do recommend. And if you're not going against super high scaling enemies, you can just put it right here. So normal Shred will work too. It just makes the weapon feel a lot nicer. Let you cut through multiple enemies with one burst and just fire a lot faster. So that's the fire rate increase right there. We do have critical delay reducing our fire rate, so something like Prime Shred can be really nice. So like now it's going to kill like 2 enemies at a time. So pretty nice. But we don't have that. We do not have the slash procs to rely on anymore. We're now basically, we removed our crutch of HM. Now we're just doing upfront base damage. And as you can see, upfront base damage almost killing this guy, who's very, very tanky. So not too big of a deal, honestly. And of course, you could go for different builds as well. So that is going to be the Battacor for you guys. I'd say as far as recommendations, I think it comes from the Clan Dojo. So it shouldn't be too difficult for you to get. Maybe take some Hexanon to build it and all that. But very nice if you're looking for a not, like, this is not like a Kuva Tsar. This is not a Kuva Brahma cleaving out the entire room in one shot. This is more like a small group of enemies get destroyed in one shot with the charge shot. It's just more of a for fun weapon if you want like a nice little burst rifle with some AoE capabilities. Look no further. Yeah, hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Like I said, videos going forward for weapon tests, there will be no outside buffing, so don't expect Gloom, or don't expect Mirage, Helm, and Sevagoth anymore in those videos. It kind of made the weapons seem a little bit better than they were sometimes, so I understood that, and yeah, that's what we'll be doing going forward. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I'll see you next time, and take it easy. Peace.